We start with a severe weather threat headed for the Houston area. Counties north of that have been dealing with tornado warnings all day. Blake Matthews has been tracking what you need to know for the weekend. Blake.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ron. A very robust storm up there in Brazos County. Currently a tornado warning in effect for the northern portions of Brazos County. So those of you who have students up there at Texas A&M, this does not include the university itself. It does include areas just around Wixon Valley, and this is headed out towards North Zulch and Madisonville. Again, this is one of the most robust thunderstorms I have seen in southeast Texas in a very, very long time. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center, the National Weather Service, saying that this storm is now dropping baseball-sized hail up there in some portions of Leon County. Now, this is out towards North Zulch. Look at this. This is what we call a velocity scope, and what we're looking at here is green versus red. This is wind moving towards the radar and away from the radar, and when you get a couplet very close together, this is where we begin to see rotation, and obviously very, very intense rotation showing up here on the radar. In fact, we're looking at 73 miles an hour with winds going away from the radar and 41-mile-an-hour winds going towards the radar. So you put the two together and you begin to get this idea that the wind is circulating in a very tight motion there, and you can see that hook echo there on the radar, and that is an indication of a very, very intense supercell. We've also got another tornado warning. This is going to be up here just to the north of Crockett, again out of our viewing area, but the idea here is that this atmosphere is very, very ripe for tornadic development to the north of Houston. What can we expect here locally tonight? Not a whole lot. We are expecting this line of showers and thunderstorms to somewhat dissipate as we head into the overnight hours. The storm system that we're going to be watching is this spin out here in West Texas, and this is what's going to get things kicked off as we head into the overnight hours tonight and into the first part of your Sunday. Now, the primary time for strong weather in our area is going to be between 10 a.m. and all the way to about 2 p.m. and we'll show you that coming up here in just a second. Now, we do have that tornado watch in effect here for our northern counties. In fact, this has just now been extended, so I'll change the banner here for another couple of hours. But basically, once you get up towards Livingston, Huntsville, College Station to the north of there, that is where the primary risk for tornadoes will be this evening. And clearly, we've got some very, very intense thunderstorms just to the north of Houston. Now, here locally, the forecast really panned out just as we expected. A 1 out of 5 heading into the remainder of the evening for the likelihood of severe weather here across Houston. So basically not really expecting any. It's once you get north of Conroe up into the Huntsville area, and you can see that 3 out of 5 there from College Station getting out towards the Arklatex. So if you have travel plans to Dallas or Austin this evening, I highly discourage not to go as these thunderstorms continue to rage to the north of the Houston area. Now, as we get into Sunday, you'll see all of southeast Texas back into a 2 out of 5 on the probability scale. This is what we call a slight risk of severe weather, and we are expecting very strong thunderstorms in the Houston area heading into tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. So what can you expect? Well, thunderstorms look like a pretty good possibility. A severe threat is in existence here as we head into the afternoon hours, the late morning into the early afternoon. Wind and hail will be the primary risk and threat with any storms that do develop, and tornadoes will also be a slight risk, albeit the tornado risk for tomorrow will be less than what we see for today. So taking a look here at the future track, this is 10:30 this evening. You'll notice that squall line and those tornadic thunderstorms really have dissipating heading into the overnight. Now, this takes us into 9:30 tomorrow morning, and you can see from Austin to Columbus down towards El Campo, these storms will be moving into your region very early in the morning. Now, as we get into the 10:30 time frame, this is going to start moving into our western suburbs. We're talking Katy, Sugar Land, all the way down towards Angleton and Bay City, Sealy, Columbus, Brenham, and College Station once again under the gun. Now, that line of storms pushes into the Houston area by around the noon hour, pushes into our eastern counties, Liberty, Chambers, and into Jefferson County by the time we get to 2 o'clock. So this is going to move through pretty quickly now, it looks like, and then you can see just how quickly things dry out as we head into the afternoon hours. But we're not quite done, because as we put this into motion, there is the actual area of low pressure itself right there towards Austin. You can see that thing spin just to our north, and this could give us yet another round of showers and thunderstorms as we head into the evening hours all the way through very early in the morning on Monday. So we'll finally get rid of those rain chances by the time we all head back to work on Monday morning, but tomorrow could be pretty rough and tumble. So why did we not see storms today? This is what we call a cap, a warm layer of air in the atmosphere. So as that air rises up trying to form thunderstorms, it can't quite do it because that layer of warm air above it makes things pretty stable. Now, as we add energy to the atmosphere, as the sun begins to shine and warms that ground, it adds energy. And the more energy you have, the stronger that lift, and eventually that cap will break as the atmosphere warms up becomes warmer than the air above it, and we get strong thunderstorms to develop, and that's exactly what we're expecting for tomorrow. So taking a look at the 2-day rainfall totals, generally between 2 to about 4 inches of rain can be a possibility on the high side. I do think everybody ends up with about an inch of rain to as much as about 2 inches before it's all said and done. As far as temperatures go, expect temperatures to cool down through the 70s tonight, and then really topping out only in those mid-70s as we get into tomorrow, thanks in part to the abundant rainfall. So 76 degrees by the time we get to 9 p.m. tonight, 72 degrees by 11, and taking a look at the next 7 days, 76 degrees for your high temperature tomorrow, 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be severe, likely will be. And as we get into the rest of the week, Ron, we're talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through Friday, bright, sunny skies. It's going to be a beautiful week ahead.
All right, thank you so much, Blake, and make sure you stay connected with our KHOU 11 app so that while you're out and about this weekend, you don't get caught off guard. In Galveston, the historic former home of legendary boxer Jack Johnson has been severely damaged by a fire. Investigators still haven't said anything about a cause. The home was more than just a house to many on the island. Our Matt Doherty is tracking the story.
Jack Johnson apparently sold the home to a Galveston family back in 1939. Several generations of that family lived in and grew up in that home until it was sold just a couple of years ago. Some of them stopped by to take a look at the damage today. They told us the new owner was in the process of a major renovation. For them, this is an especially painful loss. Shirley Collins was raised in the home and was even married in the living room.
When they called yesterday and said it was on fire, it was so hurtful, you know, because we have a lot of memories in this house.
Family members say legendary boxer Jack Johnson built the house back in 1912 for himself and his wife. Johnson was the first black heavyweight champion of the world and was born and raised on the island. In 1913, the boxer was targeted for his marriage to a white woman. A jury convicted him of violating the Mann Act, and he was imprisoned. Last year, President Trump pardoned Johnson for the crime. It's the only time in history a person has received a presidential pardon after death. We still don't know whether that house is going to be salvaged or torn down. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Matt Doherty. Here's a look at some of the other top stories we're tracking today. KHOU is agreeing to a restraining order from Harris County fire marshals. They were asked to stop operations until a safety inspection is completed. The fire marshal's office tells us there is no set date for when that inspection will happen. The chemical fire broke out on Tuesday, killing one person and injuring 2 others. An update on a story you saw first on KHOU.com this morning. A Pasadena motorcycle officer who crashed on the 610 South Loop near Highway 225 is not hurt. He was rushed to Southeast Memorial Hospital as a precaution. The other motorcycle rider involved does have a leg injury. The crash shut down the loop, but it's back open now. And the Final Four is happening right now. Virginia is facing Auburn. It's on our station, KHOU, Channel 11, as we speak. After that, the Red Raiders and Spartans are set to face off at 7:49. You can watch it right here on KHOU 11. To get the latest on these stories, as we learn more, turn on push alerts from the KHOU app. That way, you get the news first. We're constantly verifying any claims or questions you send us, finding out what's true and what's false. Today's stories are about ticks laying eggs and cracking your knuckles. Let's verify.
Tick nest and cracked knuckles. We're verifying your questions about claims going around the internet. First up, this photo. It shows a small bundle of something in the grass and claims it's a tick nest and that you should burn it. Is that true? Turns out, no. This image has been around since about 2015, and while ticks do lay eggs, they don't look like this. Here's a photo from the Tick Encounter Resource Center. First off, yuck. Second, those are what tick eggs actually look like. But ticks are incredibly small, like 3 millimeters small. And look how tiny their gross eggs are by comparison. Now this pic shows a big blue-black mass that's almost the size of a piece of grass. Not the same. And if that's not enough, here's another photo. Looks similar? This is a photo of frog eggs spit back up by a predator. So yeah, gross all around, but this claim, false. Next, an image making the rounds claiming there's no evidence of side effects from cracking or popping your fingers. Is that true? Well, we pulled from 3 medical sources on this and all agreed, yes, cracking your knuckles has no long-term effect on your hand or health. One specifically looked at arthritis claims and found no increase. An article from Harvard cites a scientist who cracked the knuckles on one hand for years and found no difference between hands later on. Basically, the article says the sounds come from air in your joints escaping, which matches the image. So this pic explaining how your knuckles pop and crack and that it's safe, verified. Got any other claims or questions? Send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
Interesting stuff there. Have something we should verify? Email us, verify@khou.com. And this is definitely not something that you see every day, monkeys racing. It's called the Banana Derby, and it can only be seen at the Galveston County Fair and Rodeo. These monkeys, Jillian and Bert, that's what they're named, they're quite the attraction. You can get your taste of all the rodeo action, carnival rides, and barbecue tonight at the Galveston County Fair and Rodeo. Pretty bizarre. Hey, thanks for joining us for this webcast. We'll be back on the air right after the Final Four ends. See you tonight.